In this episode, I am at a private club that I happen to be a member of, and the public is invited, as this establishment also works just like a regular bar and restaurant. So, if you're ever in town, come in and visit here. Prost! NOLA here, and I'm at the Deutsches Haus, which is the German cultural presence in New Orleans. So, today is Sunday, which in Munich, Germany, if Octoberfest would have been had here in 2020, would have been the last day of the Octoberfest celebrations. Here in New Orleans, we typically have our Octoberfest celebrations for the entire month of October. Now, this year, due to COVID-19 and the regulations of the city of New Orleans, we're not going to be able to have our normal celebrations here. Instead, we're having a far scaled back, much smaller ongoing event on Fridays and Saturdays with a much smaller crowd level allowed. So we're still going to be doing our on Prosits, but in a much more COVID-19 socially distanced way. So let's go have some fun and enjoy ourselves here at the Deutsches Haus. Prost! Welcome to NOLA. Let the good times roll. So before we start talking about Oktoberfest, let's jump back in time and see how the Deutsches Haus operates when it's not Oktoberfest. The Deutsches Haus is located at 1700 Moss Street in New Orleans, which is about 3 miles and 10 minutes away from the French Quarter. This is the new Deutsches Haus, which is located right on Bayou St. John. The previous house was torn down due to the construction of the new hospital, and that's a bit of a sore subject with a lot of the members like me. They used to be members of the old house, and then it took quite a while to get this new house built. But we do have this fabulous new house, so it took a long time to get it up and going, but now we have it. So this is the rear entrance, and this is where the parking lot is in the rear, so this is where most people enter from. You can't park on the street in front coming through the front, but usually we go through the back here, and the first thing you see is the bar. And they'll typically have the menu right here on the left, and then you can grab your drink up at the bar in normal times, and any other food. They have a gift store right here, and this is the front door right there that you're seeing there. And then they have a big room in the front for meetings and events. And then we have a private members only bar here in the back, and a classroom and some storage areas back here. But this is the private members only bar right here in this area. And you see they've got a smaller bar right here, and then they've got a place for people to keep their steins in. Now, usually it seems that members bar isn't used. Most members just use the main front bar. Then we have this large meeting room for events and eating. So this is a really big space. And there's lots of stuff that came from the old house that has been moved. And that's why we have our 200 South Galvez Street sign here, as that was the address of the previous house. And I do remember the suits of armor being in the old house too. So we do have a lot of activities and things that happen here. We also do like to enjoy our beer here, and you can bring your own stein, and they will fill it during normal times. Sadly, during the COVID-19 times, they will not fill your stein. Now, here's me right before the pandemic set in, and back when I was still clean shaven with short hair and actually had been to a barber. So, this is not too long before the pandemic. As the seriousness of the pandemic grew, we started off by having to stand in line until finally they shut the house down for a while, and on reopening they had built a complete barrier between the bartenders and the customers. So when we've reopened, we're now able to have lots of space in the house because they have social distancing protocols set up, so far fewer people can be in here. And usually there's a lot more tables in this area. Now we have a lot less space and far fewer people can come to enjoy the house. They do still have some limited attendance social distance events that will happen. They do have meetings still, but most of the spaces have to be reserved ahead of time. So things go on, but much different. But we still have our menu again, so we can still eat and drink here. So I'm going to get a cabbage roll and some of this cake. Let's start out and sample our cabbage roll. Cabbage rolls. Gonna wash it down with a little polliners. Yum yum. Polliners always a good choice with beer. Mashed potatoes. Carrots. Little rye bread. Little blueberry lemon cake for dessert. Just like I destroyed this meal, destroy that thumbs up and that like button, please. So here's the rear of the house with the parking lot, and usually during Oktoberfest season, this entire area is blocked off and made into a huge festival ground for us to have Oktoberfest. But this year, we're just having the inside of the house decorated and doing our small part inside with some additional seating outside if you bring your own chair. So much less is being done, but the season is still being celebrated and decorated for. So that's a little bit of encouragement to keep the spirit of Oktoberfest going here. So they're doing it on Friday and Saturday for the most part. I'm here on a Sunday, so there's only a few people here watching some American football, but I'm gonna enjoy a meal and drink a few pints to enjoy myself. Now you might know this song here. We only do this in America, at least as far as I know, but it helps you learn some German. So that's the fun thing. And then I'm back in line waiting to get another beer again. And they do have the bar decorated for Oktoberfest as well, so a little festive spirit going. And here we have another menu, so let's get some more food. So I got my Spaten Lager to go with my meal, and what do you think I got? Can you guess what's in the box? Oh ho ho ho, it's the meatloaf. So, got the meatloaf, and it came with some red cabbage and mashed potatoes, and it looks delicious with some mushroom gravy on there. It has a fantastic smell. This is some really great looking meatloaf. Oh, this is full of flavor and deliciousness. It's such a good meatloaf. This is one of the best meatloafs I've had in a long time. They do great meatloaf here at the Deutsches Haus. The cabbage rolls are also fantastic, as you saw earlier. So, New Orleans puts out lots of good food, so the German food is also good. Usually this time of year during Octoberfest, there are long lines to wait in to get up, and you have a wider selection of a menu to choose from, and they kind of rotate the entrees. And they will be rotating the entrees during the month of October like they do during the normal festival. They did tell me that they will be having my sauerbraten in 2 weeks, so I'll be returning to get some of that because they do make a delicious sauerbraten. But Prost! Time for another sip of beer to chase down that delicious meatloaf. And wow, the two go together quite well. Meatloaf and a little spaten. Definitely a great combination. So let's go have a little more of this delicious meatloaf. Man, I am enjoying this stuff. Look how thick it is. I'm definitely happy with this lunch. It's so flavorful. That mushroom gravy there is such a good complement. All the flavors go together quite wonderfully. This is a great meal to have on a Sunday for lunch. I have to say it's better than my mom's. It's better than my grandmother's even. I don't really remember my grandmother making meatloaf though, so that might be why. So meatloaf was not a common thing that my mom or grandmother made, but this is a delicious meal. Good stuff. And the spaten is good stuff too. A little sad that we can't have en masse of glass to drink out of. I mean, we could bring our own and pour the beer into it, but you'd have to get multiple beers to fill up your en masse with that for the liter beer. I brought my plastic where Deutsches Haus issue one, because carrying around the big glass heavy one during the festival does get a little heavy. Some people do it, but I will often opt for the plastic one that they sell just in case I drop it. I don't want to shatter my super deluxe and fancy glass liter en masse. So comment below if you have a favorite glass that you like to do your Oktoberfest with. And also comment below and let me know what your favorite Oktoberfest food is, because it is the season to indulge in some delicious Oktoberfest and German food. Speaking of which, I do love some red cabbage, and they do a really good version here. It's very delicious. I could eat a lot of this stuff. The red cabbage here is so good. Wow. It's got such a nice flavor to it. They add a little extra spice to it that really blends well. And then the mashed potatoes and this gravy are also fantastic. So clearly gravy on just the mashed potatoes is not enough, because you also got a lot of gravy on your meatloaf. So we have gravy on the meatloaf, gravy on the mashed potatoes, delicious gravy on everything, and it is fantastic. Ooh. These potatoes are cooked perfectly. They're very nice. They're quite a hot temperature, but not so hot they're gonna burn you. So there's the perfect amount of heat to keep you warm inside if it somehow happened to be cold outside, which rarely happens in New Orleans, especially this time of the year. So usually we're still blazing hot outside. Today actually was pretty nice. It was in the high 60s and 70s for most of the day. So that was a pleasant change from some of the heat we have been having. So it was a tolerable time, and some people even were a little bit cold because they get so used to the hot weather, so I guess the potatoes would help warm them up. The Deutsches Haus of New Orleans actually has a pretty long history. The Deutsches Haus was formed in November of 1928 when the German Society of New Orleans, that originated back in 1848, merged with several other German groups that were active at the time. And then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button to keep getting more fun content like this. So, the Deutsches Haus is also quite an affordable organization to join. So, if you would like to join, you certainly should look into it. It's quite an easy process, and your membership really pays for itself. It's one of the cheapest things to join in the entire city. And you get a beer card that will give you a beer every month of your year-long membership, and then you get some free tickets to the Octoberfest celebration. So you definitely should check this place out. And if you decide you don't want to join, it's no big deal, because you don't have to be a member to come and enjoy all that the house has to offer, as you're always welcome to come eat and drink and have a good time. There are some members-only events. The member meetings, for example, generally are for members only, but you can bring guests if you're a member if you want to check those out. So you can certainly check it out, try it out, and see if it's even anything you want to join. But there are a lot of fun events and things you can do as a member here. So it's generally a win-win for anybody that likes German culture and food to become a member, and a lot of fun for the most part. And the great selection of German beer here doesn't hurt either, so that's another fringe benefit. So, you can't find a lot of these beers in a lot of other places in the city. Well, I polished off that plate of food, but we still have another thing to eat here. We've got to take down our rye bread, and I do love some mustard, so gotta put the mustard on there. I'm not a ketchup person, I'm one of those mustard people. I like mustard on most of the things that you other people eat ketchup on. I like the mustard on it. Even French fries, oh yes. I don't really like the ketchup on anything. Ooh, I do like my mustard on most things. I don't like it on lasagna, spaghetti, fruit. But I definitely like it on a piece of bread. So, and then the bread, once I get the mustard on it, has a great ability to help soak up some of this leftover delicious mushroom gravy. So the mustard and the bread and the mushroom gravy all go together quite well. So, don't want to waste any of this wonderful, amazing gravy here. And the rye bread and the mustard and gravy are a perfect combination. The flavors definitely go together quite well to my taste palate. Hey, yours could be different, and that's fine. But to my taste buds, it's fantastic. So, if you love to have a little rye bread with mustard and the gravy on there, it's almost like eating a Reuben if I wasn't already so full from everything else I've eaten. With all the wonderful meatloaf, the red cabbage, and the mashed potatoes. Oh, it's so good and so filling. Of course, gotta wash it down with a little more Spaten. So, a big Oktoberfest Prost! And you probably didn't think I was gonna eat dessert, but of course, it's Oktoberfest time. I'm gonna eat this amazing cherry cheesecake right now because it looks wonderful. So, it's the Sunday of Oktoberfest. I have to have some cheesecake. And this cherry goes in my mouth to start with, of course, and it is delicious. So, all this whipped cream on top also looks quite nice. So, this is a good flavor combination here. I am enjoying this cheesecake. It's good stuff. Is there a bad cheesecake? Maybe. I don't think I've ever met a cheesecake I don't like. Oh, I do love some cheesecake. It is kind of hard eating this cheesecake with a plastic fork and the plastic plate, as it seems that the cheesecake is sticking to this plate like glue. So I'm having to work a little extra hard to get the cheesecake in my mouth. So doing this with one hand while I film with the other is not an easy task. But I got a big chunk finally. Ooh, that's a good piece there. Yes. Here we go. So I'm making a little headway now. So this is another big piece. Ooh. Flavor is quite nice. I am happy indeed. And this is a big serving. Ooh, it's getting hard to get it in my belly. My belly is so full, but I think I can succeed. Do you think I can succeed? Give me a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button if you think I'm gonna finish this off. Pretty sure I can, though. I think I've got just enough room to finish this cheesecake off. This is delicate work, though, because I want to save enough room for more beer. I do have to finish a beer and the cheesecake here. So let's take down a little spotting. That will help wash down the cheesecake, and that should make for a good Oktoberfest day. Yes. So the total of my meal was $28, and that included several spottings. And then here are some photos of Oktoberfest celebrations here at the Deutsches Haus in recent years. And these really make me sad that we're not going to do a big celebration this year at the Deutsches Haus in New Orleans. And although I've been to several other Oktoberfest celebrations, the ones here at Deutsches Haus are always among my favorite. So I really look forward to getting into celebrating Oktoberfest next year here at the Deutsches Haus. And I've got more great content coming up, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep getting notifications of all that new stuff. And comment below and let me know what your favorite Oktoberfest celebration location is.
Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you would just click on the little circle here with a picture of my head in there and subscribe to the NOLA channel, it would really help me a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you.